Hello Crypto Cats, my name is Tom, I am the Crypto Investor, and it's time for our weekly market roundup. We start as ever with a heat map of the top 100 tokens in crypto, and you can see that overall we are mostly green. ETH is up nearly 7% on the week, Bitcoin is up just over 7%. Layer 1s are a bit of a checkered board. We have Solana down a little bit, Cosmos down 14% after a barnstorming couple of weeks. Down behind here is Terra Luna, really hit quite hard, down 27%, and we'll get into a reason why that is shortly. Otherwise, metaverses look to be doing rather well. Sandbox, Decentraland, both performing rather nicely. So, are we about to recover? Well, let's have a little look. Let's talk about what's going on. Also, first, just the bubbles. Loopring, missed that one, up 30%. Otherwise, there's a few that have just jumped into the top 100 that I've never really heard of. Saitama, I think, is another meme coin. Wemix, Bora. Not too much else going on there. And then when we look at TVL locked, we can see that slowly but surely Ethereum's dominance is continuing to be eroded as other chains continue to have more capital locked in them. But now on DeFi Llama, we can see the L2 rollups are now represented underneath Ethereum. So we have we can now see Arbitrum, Optimism, etc. without having to go to L2 beats. We now get this all in DeFi Llama, which is nice. And so Ethereum had a good week. Luna, 21% of its TVL was lost, but it's still in second place. As I said, we'll discuss what's going on there in a sec. Otherwise, Avalanche adding capital. We also have now Polkadot is also showing its L1s, if you will, within that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so what's going on with Terra? Well, it's dumped really due to contagion over Wonderland time controversy. If you haven't been following it, Danny, the incredible coder who's created the likes of Ohm and forks of Ohm on Avalanche, like Wonderland Time, he first of all, some of the positions got liquidated on Ohm, which started to create some selling, and then it also transpired that this is a statement from him that Sifu, which is one of the multi-sig custodians of time, was actually the co-founder of Quadriga, which was a big old Ponzi scheme in Canada that lost something like $180 million. And Danny said, I want to give people a second chance. Well, this apparently is more of a fifth chance. He's a fairly well-known con man. He's changed his name. So nefarious as fuck. So yeah, people are understandably a little miffed, and the Frog Army, the Ponzi-economics tokens, are taking a massive battering on the back of this. And whether they will recover, I'm not so sure, but we will see. By the way, if you do like the content, please press the like button and please subscribe. And just risk and disclaimers, this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet giving you a crypto roundup. Alright, so the big news this week was really that the Federal Reserve, they were leaving interest rates unraised, but they did hint that potentially 5 raises are now priced in for the year. So the yield curve shows that potentially 5 raises are coming in. And so the market got a little bit upset about this. In fact, I tweeted, what's incredible is this correlation. This is the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. Admittedly, this is just a 5-minute chart, but you can now see more and more that TradFi and crypto are one and all. It is a risk asset performing just like tech at the moment. Doesn't mean it's going to remain correlated forever, but right now you can see that the two are hand in hand. We have the White House putting itself, they're going to be talking about crypto policy. I think this is on February the 13th. So this will be another moment where we'll get further clarity of what the US's stance is going to be towards crypto, whether they embrace the technology or they ostracize it. And I think, they'll be very careful about how they do this. We saw how after the dot-com bubble, Europe put protectionist policy in place to stop big web companies from disrupting existing businesses, which meant that the big web companies all grew in the US, and Europe failed to have its representative FANG stocks. And they're not going to make the same mistakes again. I don't think the US is going to make the same mistakes again. They recognize that this is a new technology which will play an increasingly bigger part in our world, and so I don't think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot and heavily regulate it. We need regulation, but we need the right regulation. What I found quite appealing was that they've called it the future of finance, this discussion, which doesn't sound too negative, does it? So yeah, that's got me a little bit optimistic that maybe there is a positive spin to be found in their rhetoric. All right. The CEO of YouTube said that NFTs and crypto represent a previously unimaginable opportunity, so they will effectively be embracing it in time, which is bullish news, but not quick enough for their pair of executives who on the same day announced that they're departing YouTube and will be going to Polygon. So yeah, Ryan Watts, these are big players in the he's going to be the new CEO of Matic. So that's a big old move, and this is signal for me. When you have the brightest and smartest minds in the world leaving Web 2 and heading to Web 3, it tells you everything you need to know about this opportunity that we as investors are looking to front run. Okay, Gibraltar is potentially going to be the first crypto stock exchange. This is still speculative at this point, but this company, Richard Polden's company Valerium, has bought 80% of the stock exchange now, and plans to turn it into the first cryptocurrency stock exchange, which could be very interesting. The idea that every stock can effectively be represented on the blockchain, it's just more relays, more going on. Are we in a bear market? Well, we've just had 8 billion, another 550 million raised for Fireblocks, valuing at 8 billion, another 200 million for Block Demon, FTX another 400 million, that's FTX US I believe, Consensus raise and now a 7 billion valuation. So money continuing to still pour in from VCs into this space. Doesn't feel like it's dying. That was about Daniel and Spell, we don't need that one. Alright, Prada have jumped in onto the NFT bandwagon, they're doing NFTs. Gucci have jumped into the NFT bandwagon, they're doing NFTs. Bud Light are doing it. I think I saw the Beatles are looking to do NFTs. And just as I was saying about embracing crypto, this is quite interesting to see Matt Hancock in the US. It's well worth watching. Again, if you follow me on Twitter, you'd have seen me retweeting it. Desert Island Tom. Just saying, that we can't pass up this opportunity to be a world leader in fintech, and saying that they have to be very careful with their regulation in the United Kingdom to not ostracize people that want to set up blockchain related businesses. That's Daniel again. And many of you are scared about an oncoming bear market and whether we're going into a crypto winter. This is not 2018 in any way, and what we've seen right now has been a correlated move with the broader stock market. It wasn't that we just got deeply overpriced on our assets. So I still think we'll look at the stock market in a minute, but once we start to see stability in the stock market and it starts to recover, then I'm expecting to see a similar move within the crypto space as well. And this is quite cool. We mentioned Brave Browser, who have the native BAT token. The Opera browser has also basically said that they're going to be effectively a crypto wallet. So your web browser will act like a crypto wallet and make a much easier experience on your phone and on your laptop. And these are small browsers with 1%, 2% market penetration, looking at embracing crypto because they know that it will really pull people onto their platforms. So cool to see. And how long till Google look at buying MetaMask or something along those lines. But yeah, decent signal. All right, so I said I'll start first of all with the stock markets. This is the Nasdaq, and it is relevant due to that correlation which we talk about. We had that break the week before, and this huge red candle, which typically meant that more selling would be on the way, as I said, and we did get that more selling. But we have fought back, and we do have a bit of a shooting star here, or hammer, sorry, and that hammer. We need another week confirmation, because we had a doji this week and then obviously got the selling. Doesn't mean that we're out of the woods, but a nice long leg on that. Maybe it means that the buyers have stepped in. I think we probably see a bit more chop and sideways action before eventually coming back up. So again, probably representative of what we see in the crypto markets. When we look at the total crypto markets, we have a very similar hammer that has formed. We're right underneath this kind of key support line, so one hopes we don't get a rejection and move back down on that. It's going to be critical that we get back above it and back above this downward trend line as well. But these next few weeks probably will continue to be choppy for the markets unless some kind of news catalyst really changes that. It's going to take a while for people's confidence to come back in, even though we are 7% up on the week. Very, very similar when we look at Bitcoin. Obviously, it's 42% of the total market, so of course they're very similar, correlated, the total market cap and the Bitcoin market cap. Not much to say other than it's identical. We need to first, it'll probably be a fairly make or break week for Bitcoin. I imagine we're going to come up and test up here around 42,000, which has been resistance. It was support, now will be turned resistance. So this is going to be a critical week. I can't imagine we're just going to cruise through 42,000. I think a lot of people will look to sell there. And maybe we come back, we retest down here and then move up, but probably chop, and if you didn't watch my video that I released during the week about timing the market being better than timing the market, this is a great time to be dollar cost averaging in. We might see something just like this, where the market just has to drift sideways for 70 days, and this is a great time for you to just be buying in over the next 2-3 months at these lower prices. Just put aside 5% of your monthly salary. This isn't financial advice, it's just hypothetical, and then wait for this market to slowly recover. So I'm sure we'll likely see something like this kind of play out here, to be honest. I'm not expecting an aggressive V-shaped recovery, as I said, unless there's a news catalyst. Not dissimilar with it, again, almost identical with Ethereum. They're all so correlated. Exactly the same here. It's going to be a big line in the sand, 2,800. We already tested it on the 26th, 4 days ago, and were rejected. So we'll see if ETH can push up past here, but it needs to get back above 2,800 before it really looks like it's going to resume its upward momentum. Looking at the ETH Bitcoin ratio, when the markets sell off, typically ETH sells off versus Bitcoin. It perfectly, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I tweeted this, that it was a really nice time to flip a bit of Bitcoin into Ethereum, and we did get that bounce exactly as I tweeted it, 0.065. So really nice entry on Ethereum versus Bitcoin there. So assuming the markets hold somewhat stable, then we're likely going to come back up, probably get something like this play out over time. Just with the tokenomics, with the ETH 2.0 merge coming this April or so, it's just feels fairly inevitable that the market cap of Ethereum will rise faster than that of Bitcoin's, in my humble opinion. Metaverse outperforming Ethereum. This is Metaverse versus Ethereum. It's had a decent week. As I said, the likes of Sandbox and Decentraland looking very strong. DeFi not bouncing quite as well. DeFi continuing to look a little soft compared to Bitcoin and ETH. Talking of soft, I mentioned Luna having a shocking week. It has now dropped from its highs 50%. And looks like it should come down further to 43 or so. My opinion is that the contagion is unfair. I don't think it is the similar Ponzi token economics to the likes of Wonderland time. I think it's a very elegant model, and this represents potentially a good buying opportunity. I might set an alert here at 43 and grab a little bit more Terra Luna. If you're not familiar with how Terra Luna works, the mechanics there is that when their native stablecoin UST is printed, then Luna is burnt, but the opposite is when UST is sold, then Luna is effectively bought by the treasury. And so if we look at UST, that native stablecoin, you can see that it had been growing. The total amount of UST in circulation had passed 11 billion. We had 11.2 billion in circulation. But for the first time, really, I can see historically ever, it dropped 7% of the circulation, and so this is what has caused that sell-off in Luna for the time being. But yeah, quite a nasty move in dominance for Luna as well. But again, this could represent a decent buying opportunity soon. Not quite yet, but I'm keeping a close eye on that. All right. That is that, Crypto Cats. I hope you found it useful. As ever, I'm just a guy on the internet. This is not financial advice. Do your own research, etc., etc. Happy investing, and I'll speak to you ever so soon. All the best.